Hi everybody! So because I'm not here today, I decided to make this video to kind of go through this idea of graph sketching. What graph sketching is a way for us to sketch the original graph using information that we have about both the first and second derivative. So this is a sample AP question, and I'm going to walk you through how to sort of think through this problem. So let f be a function that is continuous on the interval from 0 to 4. Now that's a really important idea. It means that our final graph should all be connected. The function f is twice differentiable, except at x equals 2. If we're not differentiable here, then that means there must be a corner, cusp, vertical tangent, or discontinuity, but since we're continuous, that one's out, at that value. The function f and its derivative have the properties indicated in the table below, where D and E indicates that the derivatives of f do not exist at x equals 2. On the axes provided, sketch the graph that has all the characteristics of f. So here's what I like to start with, is just understanding what this table is telling me. This first row is telling me y values of the original graph, which is what we're trying to sketch. So what I would do is start by plotting those y values on my graph. So I'm going to plot the point 0, negative 1, then the point 1, 0, then the point 2, 2, then the point 3, 0, and then I can look at all these in-between pieces of information. Negative means that between here and here, all of my y values should be negative. They should all be below. Positive means that between here and here, all of these y values should be above. Positive means all of these y values should be above. And negative means after this, all the y values up until 4 should be below. Then I'm going to look at what the first row of this table might tell me. This first derivative tells me about the slopes. So is your graph going uphill or downhill? Since this first section is positive, the original graph must have been going uphill. So I like to draw a little uphill arrow there. Since this second section is positive, the original graph must have been going uphill. So I like to draw a little uphill arrow there. When it says 4 here and 0 here, that means that those slopes were 4 and 0 exactly. But I'm not going to be able to plot those because they're not ordered pairs. It's just positive slopes versus a 0 slope. Negative means the original graph was going downhill, and negative again means the original graph was going downhill. Now I'm not going to sketch anything yet because I also need to take into account the concavity. That marker is dying. I'm going to have to choose a different color. So I'm going to choose, I'll go with green. Concavity is the curvature. So if I have a negative concavity, it means I'm concave down like a frown. A positive concavity is concave up like a cup. A negative concavity is concave down like a frown, and a positive concavity is concave up like a cup. Now, when we look at the concavity like this, there are really, I'm going to draw this on the side. If I look at a negative concavity, I can really think about this as divided into two sections. This side has a negative concavity, but it's going uphill. And this side has a negative concavity, but it's going downhill. So, if I know that for this interval here, I have to be going uphill, but I also have to be concave down, it must look like this half of that curve. If I know on this side I'm going uphill, but I have to be concave up, I know it has to be on this side of the curve, because the other side of the curve is going downhill. On this part, I'm going downhill, but I'm concave down, so it has to look like this half, because the other half is going uphill. And then this one, it's downhill and concave up, but I must be on this side because the other side is going uphill. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to connect these dots with those shapes. The first shape should look like this. The second shape should look like this. The next shape should look like this. And the last shape should look like this. Now I'm going to stop at 4, and the reason I'm going to stop at 4 is that this says I'm continuous from 0 to 4. And I don't know the exact value for 4, so it doesn't matter where I stop as long as I have this shape and I have negative y values. And that's it. That's your graph sketch. Your job now is going to be to try the next one and then check your answers on Google Classroom. So make sure you share your ideas with your neighbors and help them out, and I will see you for some practice. Thanks.